Welcome to another episode of Husbands Watching Housewives. I'm Scott.
And I'm Jeff.
And we just watched an episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
A supersized episode that so much happened.
Yeah, and I kept thinking it was going to end. I was like, oh, I'll get cookies later. And then it never ended. So I just got cookies. I got off the couch, got cookies.
But not Girl Scout cookies. They were just Oreos.
Oreos, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good. It was a great episode. Good episode.
Great episode.
Lots of happened.
Yeah.
For those of you just joining us, thanks for joining us. Please subscribe, find us on social media. We like to know who we're dealing with.
We're dealing with.
Yeah, and we can know better whether we got Lisa fans on our hands or we got Meredith fans or, all these things. We need to know.
Right.
We don't need to know. We just like to know.
Right. I'd ask the Lisa fans, why does Lisa wear the same outfit all the time, the same aesthetic, as if she just stepped out of the TLC Creep video?
That's a reference I don't get. You'll have to show me.
It's the silky pajamas, and everything's very flowy with her. It's just pants and flowy top, and I'm just I need something else.
She found a silhouette that works for her, and it's a little tomboyish, in that.
It's just for someone who claims to love fashion so much, she needs to branch out and do more things in fashion. I think Meredith wears a nice variety of outfits.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this week's episode, she looked really good in what she was wearing.
I would agree. And
Lisa just looked like the same Lisa. It's always the same flat hair. Maybe there's a little bit of curl, but just flowy top, flowy pants. And I'm I need more from her.
Yeah. What Meredith was wearing at the gallery, I thought just looked like a all not terry cloth, and just looked like all what is sweatpants, jersey. It was all jersey.
Yeah.
Well, the sweater was fairly casual. Everything else just looked like it was jersey, and I was just like, that's just too much of the same texture.
I liked it. It looked like something that Cher would wear in Clueless.
Oh, I can see.
The mini skirt with the kind of it's schoolgirl bit, and there's definitely in the boots. There's definitely a look she was going for, and it worked.
You're right.
Yeah.
Can I say one more time that Heather needs to stop throwing themed events, especially themed little tongue in cheek. We're gonna be
and also to stop in the wilderness of life. No, stop right there. I'd be I would stop reading the text if I got that from her. Here she goes again. Metaphor Molly.
Yeah, just a little bit much. So, I wasn't a huge fan of that. And then
and we didn't start with, I thought they would just go back to the table at breakfast at Mary's, and
it wasn't to be continued. I think it ended with Meredith leaving, and it was just going to pick up where it picks up.
But I thought someone would go after her. I thought they would talk amongst themselves about what just happened. There's just so much drama at that table, and then it was Meredith left and bye.
Got her parting gift and left.
Yeah, she's I'm taking this gift.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I think my problem with the episode, even right now, fresh in my mind, is just a lot of people telling everyone else what happened. And so it's hard for me to pick a point and go with it, because I'm wait, am I repeating something they said, or is it my own original thought? They're gaslighting in my own brain.
Yes. Well, basically, Whitney and Heather, they're going to do... Let's start first. I love True Beverly Hills. It's a favorite movie from the 80s. It's the movie that made me want to move to Beverly Hills, actually.
Really?
Before it came out a year before 90210. And I just remember seeing it in the theater, and I loved it. The theme, the comedy, the outfit, Shelley Long and the bad red hair, the fact there's Beverly Hills and these, teens, and, with an appearance by Tori Spelling in a very small part, by the way, again, pre-90210. I just love that movie, the badges, the whole Beverly Hills, what a thrill, shopping is our greatest skill. It's just a great movie. So
I remember way more of it than I do.
Oh, we're gonna have to watch it.
I remember seeing it on an airplane. I don't really. Yeah, I forget where I was going, but it was playing on an airplane. And it's all I remember about it. I remember it was being a good movie and everything, but when I first saw it as a little kid on an airplane.
Yeah, it's just Craig T. Nelson. It goes on and on. So I like the theme from the start.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you're not as opposed to as I was. I was just like, why can't they get together and just get together and like not have to have a whole theme about it with activities and the whole, dress code?
Well, the spiel that she gives, Heather gives, I want to bring us together and in the wilderness. It's like, that's all bullshit.
Right.
It's basically, it's like we want to have a party, an excuse for us to eventually start talking about the shit we don't want to talk about, but the drama that we have. But it's like you have to like wrap it up in this like funny theme, so like Bravo can be like, oh, look at them,
But not every episode though needs to be like that, unless that's what Salt Lake is truly hanging its hat on.
Well, Salt Lake is very campy, so this fits right in. Again, that's a movie is super camp. Super camp. It's Beverly Hills. So yeah.
Apologies for adjusting the mic.
Oh.
I just realized that we haven't been talking to it, and those of you, we've been having some technical issues, which we're hoping we're overcoming, and so like podcasts are hard, y'all.
Right.
God, you never thought you'd go, this whole fun thing, and then we just spent like the last however many hours trying to sort all this stuff out. So I'm hoping that this is good. I'm speaking good thoughts into the universe.
Yes.
And making sure that my voice is heard.
Yeah. It's
literally heard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like working fine and then it's not working and you're like, ugh.
Yeah. So anyway, but back to True Beverly Hills and the whole day event.
Yes. So yeah, before we get to that, the whole thing with Meredith and Mary, it's like it could have been resolved very easily. I don't understand why it went so left of like, Mary didn't reach out to me, but I'm the bigger person, so I'm gonna invite her to this gallery. And then she shows up an hour late and like doesn't even apologize. Did she read the call time wrong? I don't know. Well, but like I would at least said like, even if I'm like whatever over Meredith in this moment, I would have said, you know what, I'm sorry I'm late. Sorry to keep you waiting. So Meredith's pissed. Mary's pissed at her for leaving the house. Yes, Mary did say, if you can't be quiet or whatever, can't act right, leave. Mm-hmm. But she didn't throw her out of the house. Meredith had the opportunity at that time to act right and not leave. But she just said, I didn't felt unwelcome and stormed out.
Right.
And so Mary shows up and, nothing is resolved. And I did gasp. I don't know why I gasped easily. But as her saying, our friendship is severed, I was like, whoa.
A lot of things
this went even further left.
Yeah, a lot of stuff Mary's saying is just disjointed, and I don't want to look behind the fourth wall into figuring out why, because I think a lot of it's production related. Like,
no, I think that's just who she is.
Really?
Yes.
I just feel like she's being told by production, and so she's like, okay, I'm reacting.
I think
it's real what she's saying about like, maybe if you didn't schedule everything in Park City, I wouldn't be an hour late. Like, but if she's going to say that in her confessionals, just like every other housewife, she needs to say some of it to their face.
Well, she said it to Angie, but yeah, she should have said it to Meredith's face. Like, that would have been like some good shade, like, or ours, then
at least would have given Meredith a way to come back. Well, that Park City's an hour away.
It takes some time.
So maybe leave earlier,
for this dumb walk through the gallery. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they couldn't have just, spoken, and it just was like, no, our friendship's severed. And then, okay, you used me for 3 years, and I get that. Throughout it all, Meredith was the only one who really consistently had Mary's back and like took her side and like would film with her. Basically, that's what she wanted to say. Right. But for whatever reason, Mary is like, I don't care about that. I'm mad at you. You're self-absorbed. You suck. And I don't want to deal with you. But also she's dealing with the Robert Jr. stuff, so this is not a priority, much like Lisa Barlow is not a priority to her.
Like you were saying, though, that like, Mary was saying if, Meredith was as good a friend as she was, she'd know what's going on in my life. But Mary never gives her the opportunity. Like Meredith literally asks, is everything all right with you? And Mary says, doesn't.
In regards to what?
Yeah, exactly.
She questions the question.
So, I mean, unless she's just saying in general, in a more typical sense, that like if she checked on me, if she called and we talked and we were the friends she thinks we are, she would already know about this. I wouldn't have to tell her on camera at a gallery for a fake apology sesh about the misunderstanding at my house.
An apology session where neither one of them was willing to apologize.
Right.
So it wasn't going to go anywhere.
And that is also Mary's typical MO, is that she remember that non-apology.
And just and pulling shit out of her ass. Yeah. But then we go from that to actual apology, which I thought seemed very one-sided to me, the Angie Lisa conversation.
Oh, I forgot about
at
that.
the stupid aquarium.
Is that where Lisa's wearing her Oscar the Grouch sweater?
Yeah, it's her
sweater. I'm wearing this in honor.
It's a much better sweater.
This is much better, but this used to be, I call this my Muppet sweater.
Yeah.
It used to be really shaggy, and it looked as though I'd murdered a few hundred Muppets to make it. But really, I just got it at Urban Outfitters in like 2003.
Whereas Lisa actually had her assistant murder some Muppets.
It looked that way.
To make her jacket.
It also just, again, looked like someone took felt and like got it wet, and it didn't look all that good. But I mean, I'd wear it though. But I like Muppet sweaters.
It was dingy.
Yeah, but it was a very one-sided apology.
I feel like Angie really opened up and said, talked about like how it's related to her mother and how she deals with things, and she said, I never said you were a bad mother, and I apologize for like not having your back and listening to you. But I don't think that Lisa gave her that same energy back.
Right.
She's like, it was more, she asked the questions and she said like, I felt hurt, or like, I don't expect you to take my side over Whitney's, but like, at least listen to me. I don't want this to, I don't want you to sever your friendship with Whitney in order to have a friendship with me, but you're not listening to me. But at the same time, she didn't own that she said something really snarky to Angie at the Harley Davidson dinner when, saying like, oh, you're always having to go off and deal with Electra and not, talk to me. And they both were just like, I call her 100 times a day. She calls me 100, like as if like they're basically like, I'm the better friend. I always take her calls. I'm the better friend because da-da-da. And it's like, just why this? It's always a measuring of friendship with Salt Lake. Yeah.
I think, though, to your point, though, and you're right, is that, Lisa wasn't trying to take ownership or accountability for anything, whereas Angie was very much like, I understand, and here's where I'm coming from. And there was definitely some sort of, attempt from Angie. Whereas Lisa did not really make an attempt.
Lisa, I think, at least absorbed what Angie was saying to her.
Right.
But I would have liked to hear her say, I apologize for this instance. We were both wrong. We both let this go on too long without really talking it out. So, there you go.
I need to look up the trip to the zoo or the aquarium or whatever the heck that was. Like, is that like a Salt Lake thing? And if so, is like, they just went into a back room with a snake? Like, is that like on the, like, can anyone do that? Or
that was like, it's like the connections, the VVIP.
Right.
It's like, here's a snake, you can touch it. Okay, now go off into the aquarium.
It seemed like a very weird thing. And then they're in the aquarium, like, can you guys go off so we can talk in the loudest room ever?
Yeah.
And when you're sitting in those like aquarium like things where there's the water going overhead, it all just forms a dome. Like, I'm sure everyone in that room could hear everything they were saying. It was no privacy whatsoever.
Also, it's like, yes, we're going to have a conversation in front of this, crowd of like strangers.
But our kids are somewhere else.
Yeah. PA's watching them.
Probably.
Well, they're 12. They'll be okay.
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's wearing those pants.
What pants?
Did you see his jeans? Those torn up jeans? They're not a good choice.
Oh. So is he going to get like the fashion police after him? I don't understand.
I'm just saying, not a good choice.
I didn't even notice his pants because I was too distracted by his sweater.
They were just so Ed Hardy. Or True Religion back in the day.
True Religion.
It just seemed like something strange. I was like, what? Why?
Seven for Mankind.
Exactly. But so yeah, after that,
I think then we went to camp.
Oh, hold on. Before camp, what was the unnecessary FaceTime with Meredith and Brooks?
Oh, when she was like, when was waiting for Mary, and like she calls up Brooks and he's like, why are you FaceTiming me?
That entire family just not.
Yeah, her daughter Chloe, like, oh,
so weird. I just had to bring that up because I thought it was like, what possesses Meredith? Like, oh, I guess I gotta talk to someone. Like, the producer's like, can you do something to pass the time? Like,
yeah, it's like, can you call Brooks?
Yeah. That must have been what happened. But yeah, then to camping.
Because Seth wouldn't pick up.
He was busy working. Maybe he's flying something.
And in
Ohio.
Thanks. I was going to say Idaho.
Idaho and Ohio are 4 letters, but different places. Actually, Idaho is more than 4 letters. Iowa is 4 letters.
Yes.
But anyway.
That's true. I do. Got it. So they go camping and they play.
Well, they don't go camping. They go to a campsite.
They go to a campsite for a potluck thing. And, we see Mei Lee.
Oh, yeah. What the hell was she wearing?
It seemed like it was underwear.
I
It was
know.
very like 2002 Britney.
I thought it was like the Marky Mark line or something.
It was, it was like
Like she's
the Calvin Klein commercial.
right.
Yeah.
Was she gonna be all?
She's like, what? What do you mean? Hey.
Just start singing the song.
Good vibrations.
Thank you. Man, we saw her
Good, like,
she was on the show.
Yeah, Mei Lee. I mean,
We've been thinking about taking this down, but
bless her heart. She's truly just a friend.
yeah,
But
it doesn't offer much.
but she's on the kiss. She's on the kiss. I think she's on the trip.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll see more from her then.
I mean, all we know is that her name is Mei Lee. She's got a bunch of kids. She's Mormon, and apparently she has some issues at Nordstrom that Lisa said because she returned too many things.
Yes. So I can't remember if that's a dig at Rebecca Minkoff from New York or if that was something from Salt Lake. But you're right. It was Salt Lake.
So Brandon told Lisa.
All I know is that I have yet to see until Mei Lee. I've yet to see a friend of who made Saba look like a full-time housewife from Dubai.
Even like Tracy from Jersey, she was. I mean, Tracy tops the list because she got cut out of the damn reunion.
Oh yeah,
she showed up the reunion, filmed, and they cut her out completely. So
so they're up there. We should start like a top 5
friends, useless friends. I forgot about Saba.
Oh, I love.
Is she on pause as well?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's on permanent pause. Dubai's just on the metaphorical pause.
Yes.
So camping with Mei Lee.
With Mei Lee, she brought a potluck thing. Brittany shows up hella early, and they played sack race, and then all of a sudden it's like, let's get down to this drama, girls who are really here.
And then it just unloaded. There
was a domino effect.
It started in a very logical place, and I thought there was some good back and forth, and then when that deteriorated, everyone else was like, well, we're at it.
Well, what was happening is that Meredith wasn't giving Mary what she wanted, and vice versa. So then I can't remember if Bronwyn jumped in then, or Angie jumped in, and then Bronwyn has this bombshell of like, Whitney's talking smack about Heather, saying that Heather only cares about being Lisa's friend and is kind of discounting her other friendships. And then, but here's the thing, I can't remember like what this reminds me of, but Heather was probably a little ticked in that moment, but because it was coming from Bronwyn, she's like, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of letting you know this pisses me off. So I'm just going to keep going and be like, oh, and even if she doubled down on it at the Shabbat dinner of, all friends talk shit about each other, from time to time. And it's like, damn well that if somebody else, namely Lisa, had said that, you'd be like, what? Whitney was saying what about me? But Bronwyn's just like, no, I'm fine. Bullshit, Heather. And then, then Whitney's pissed because like she was like stuck up for Bronwyn, ran after she like left Palm Springs, after left the pool like all in a huff. And then Angie and Bronwyn get into it, which just came out of nowhere as well.
Very, very strange to me that was even happening.
I mean, Bronwyn wasn't like, they did say, because Angie wasn't in a good place with Lisa at the time, that Lisa's a crappy friend and watch out. And Bronwyn said, that's not my experience. And as Bronwyn recounted it, is exactly what we saw on the replay. So And I'm not saying that Angie or at least Whitney were lying, but the fact they were so upset, it's like, but you said it. So,
yeah,
you know.
But I feel like Bronwyn just kind of was jumping in here for no reason whatsoever.
But she also had that information, like going into it, like she said this to Lisa and Meredith, you know, like blah, blah, blah. Whitney's been saying stuff about Heather. And then, you know, that whole thing, the strings, which is like, I don't know where they stand with each other, let alone where I stand with them.
Well, we'll be figuring that out shortly.
Yes. We'll give you a diagram.
Strings on here, and we'll let it know. I have to point over there. Nothing's going on between Salt Lake and Beverly Hills. This is all.
I don't know. I think Bronwyn and Jennifer Tilly have beef. I'm quirkier. No, I'm quirkier.
I need to be some more Jennifer Tilly laugh.
Yes.
So good.
Next week.
I don't know. I just feel like
it was like a free-for-all, and it didn't totally make sense. And then Lisa and Mary getting into it,
right?
With just like, you know, you stop talking, or you keep talking. No, you keep talking.
Yeah.
And I do like, though, I love a dingbat. Like, you dingbat.
Yeah. I guess I can stand to go back and watch that whole scene, because I just don't know what the point of it was. And Brittany got in there being the voice of reason somewhere.
Well, no, that was at the Shabbat dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Brittany was just all finished when Mary told her to shut the hell up.
Yeah, see, that's the old Mary that I don't like.
Yeah.
Like, again, like, you should not.
True.
She's just unilaterally like, I'm not even to deal with you. It's like, you're not above or better than anyone. I don't care what you're going through at home or with you, you know, still you're being rude. Especially when she comes on the heels of people don't know manners anymore.
Yes. How
can you tell someone to shut up?
Exactly. Like, for once, Brittany had a point, like, that's not good manners.
Yeah.
You know, backing up for a bit, Brittany's whole thing was, I'm with Jared. He says he loves me. I met Donnie, but I'm juggling 10 guys. I don't get Brittany.
I don't understand either. I don't.
She's chaotic.
Yeah.
But she can sing.
Oh, you've told me that, yeah.
I'll show you the TikTok of her doing Defying Gravity. I was quite surprised.
I will be surprised as well.
Yes.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that Angie said about Meredith's hearing.
Oh, God.
Not about Meredith's hearing loss.
So now we're talking about impairment.
Yeah. It's not. It definitely was a line that was being walked on, but I don't think that it was crossed. It would be one thing if Angie was saying, like, you know, you're deaf just like Meredith. She's just saying,
right.
It's like, you could use some hearing aids because clearly you're not listening, you know.
Like Meredith.
Right. And then it wasn't an attack at Meredith.
No.
I mean, the fact that it was one of the first times on camera that they mentioned Meredith wearing hearing aids.
Right.
Like, that could be questionable, but it's pretty well known fact where I didn't go gasp or anything. I knew she had some sort of thing.
Well, no, she talked about it. She gave a whole 5-minute moment in her confessional about I got these hearing aids, and I
don't remember that, but
yeah,
I don't think that was anyone attacking Meredith. So if Meredith gets on this high horse about they're talking about hearing,
and my impairment, that's not what it was about. No,
yeah, your impairment is something else. The impairment you're talking about isn't your physical one. So,
ma'am,
something else entirely. Still haven't figured it out yet.
But basically, it's like nothing gets resolved, and everyone just storms off, and Heather, we're just further apart than ever. Oh, I hate her being the damn narrator. It's so annoying. Can someone else take the baton?
I will hope so. It was been one of my favorite things to see over the Thanksgiving weekend is all the TikToks, and it's the one over and over again. It's, sitting down at Thanksgiving dinner. It's like, I want to play a game. Who here do you not trust? But every one of these damn things just might as well be who here do you hate the most?
Let's pass this candle around.
I'm surprised there wasn't. We're going to pass this sash around. And when I come, and you pick a different badge on it, and you tell me which one of these women personifies the spirit of the badge.
And the first one is shadiest bitch.
But
I mean,
all this gets done to kind of keep Heather out of the focus of this, but I guess I can't.
Well, Heather has no personal story.
Yeah.
So this is her friends are her story.
Right. She can explain what soaking is quite well.
I mean, I already knew.
Right.
But like, I didn't need the hot dog and bun metaphor. But again, my girlfriend loves the metaphor.
Graphics from the
graphic. Oh my God. Yeah.
And then was it jump hopping?
I thought it's called something else.
I just thought it was
I defer to her. She's a Mormon. Yeah, the shaking so you're not thrusting, but it's yeah.
I always thought that was kind of strange because then that would have to be, I mean, that would be even weirder because then there's 3 of you kind of in the room doing.
Why are you there?
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we listened to it together, but I was listening to Popping Off with Teddy and Emily, and they were way before the show aired. They spoke with, I think it was Michaela and Macy. Yeah.
From Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yes, and they asked them about soaking. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. By you students.
I know.
Y'all kooky. So
yeah, everyone leaves in a huff, drama, blah, blah, blah. So then we get to the Shabbat Shalom.
The Shabbat dinner. Where I have to say, Meredith went from day to night. I know it's different days then, right?
Wait, we need to talk about her fur dress.
Oh.
What in the God?
What the Sasquatch is that?
What?
Talk about Muppets.
I mean,
that was like a Muppet slaughter right there.
That was like, she was like, had a fur coat that she couldn't use anymore. So she made it into a dress.
Well, she didn't have that fur coat she wore.
And that's what it became. It became that dress. Brooke sewed it for her. I mean, and it was a halter, and there's a necklace, and I don't understand.
And there's the cut of it made her body look in weird proportions.
Yes.
Is what I think was going on with that, and what made it so jarring.
It's just, it's weird. Because her other looks are pretty, pretty conservative, and then it's like fur halter, like what?
They're conservative, but like I think tasteful is what they are.
Yes, I don't think they're bad.
No.
But the one where she's basically wearing just a cardigan,
a little strange.
Yeah, and just like
But I think what she wore to the Shabbat dinner was very, very appropriate for it.
Yes.
But it's just strange how she went from, like you're saying, from the halter top Muppet fur dress to suddenly, like, she borrowed this off of Mrs. Finkelstein on the Upper East Side. Like, she went very, very, very conservative.
Yeah.
In this green tunic almost. It was just very conservative, and it fits the occasion. But I would expect something a little more elevated. This looked like she was literally going to the temple that day.
Yes,
and like
maybe she did
stop by the deli to get a babka or something, or bakery. I don't know. I'm throwing out as many Seinfeld Jewish references as I can without being actually offensive. Fingers crossed.
I thought you were doing more so like a Mrs. Maisel situation.
Oh, I couldn't remember the damn roast that she gets. The
brisket?
Yeah, brisket.
Yeah.
We need to make another brisket.
Oh, that was so good.
It's a little salty, but we'll calm down the salt. But yeah, the Shabbat dinner was interesting. And I always like when they have a cook there who's actually doing it all, and they keep cutting to them, being like,
I loved that they were passing around the meat, and literally it's like this huge hunk of meat with the bone in, and it's like, they're like,
it's like Flintstones.
Yeah.
A cartoon at that point.
Yeah, put it on your car.
But I was surprised at who showed up. Like, I wouldn't expect that Brittany and Jared would have showed up.
I mean, well, the fact that he has to show up together, but the fact that Brittany wasn't even invited,
right?
I think I didn't understand that. Obviously, she was not going to invite Mary, Whitney, and Angie.
Right.
So I guess that meant everyone else except Maylee, because,
right. I mean,
she's lucky she got invited to the...
I mean, she's lucky she's invited to this board.
Like we feel like, oh man,
and then she can't believe, of all people she invited Alan. I mean, that was pretty amazing.
I mean, Heather, at least if you're going to be like shady towards someone's husband, at least get the name right.
Right.
You know?
I don't know where she thought it was Alan. I thought there would be at least a confessional from Heather, like explaining like why she thought it was Alan.
Right.
But I didn't remember that till they showed the clip that when she was at Bronwyn's house, she's like, your husband Alan, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if in this episode when she went over to introduce herself and say hi to Todd, whether she actually called him Alan to his face, and or whether a Frankenbite or something.
No, she called him Alan when she was talking to Brooks and Chloe.
Right. But then when she went over there, Bronwyn said it's Todd, not Alan.
Yeah, this is not Alan. Yeah.
Is that in reference to what her mistake back at the house, or did she say something?
Back at the house.
Okay.
Back at the house, yes. Yeah.
But
I think Heather probably was thinking in that moment, oh, that's right. It is Todd with a firm grip. Yeah.
And then to hear Todd say, I'm excited to be here. You're like, really?
Did he?
He said it like when she said Meredith was saying she's very glad everyone could be there, and Todd said, I'm glad to be here too.
Oh.
He said it very vocally, like he was happy to be, he was excited to be part of her Shabbat dinner.
Right. Oh, well, he said also, he's like, something about he's happy that she, when she invited everyone to her bat mitzvah, he's like, I'm happy to,
Thank you.
Yes.
So, but still, again, you don't expect, I still expect everything Todd says about this show to be like, oh, yeah, I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
I'm loving life.
So, but again, even at that dinner, once the conversation started going, on the Housewives drama, it seemed very disjointed, like they were grasping at straws.
It did. And then, yeah. So, did he? Well, sorry.
No, that's right. You just yawned. I heard you stifle it, because now I have to stifle it.
My yawning and not trying to yawn distracted me from the thought.
No, don't worry. It's not happening.
Todd, not Alan, when they got down to the drama, and before that, when he said like he did a background check on Bronwyn, and Heather's like, "Ooh, I'm loving this. Can't wait to do this in my confessional." Also, too, like again, Heather, with the throwing of the stones, when I know that you were in a loveless marriage, please stop. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that out of turn. She said that herself.
Yes.
Anyways, in her new book. But when he says, or when Bronwyn said, did she refer to herself as a see you next Tuesday?
No, I don't think so. I think she said, I can be a...
It wasn't bitch, because they wouldn't bleep that. So I think it was.
I think it might have just been the F. I think
it wasn't. It was too short for asshole.
Right. But
should I spell that out? Will that make it better?
No. I think it's fine. No, I'm just trying to think at what point do we have to mark this explicit, but we don't, unless we say the bad ones.
Well, we're not going to say that word.
So,
but I think that she said that because he was very quick to say, because they bleeped it.
Oh, because he's like, don't say that.
He's like, don't say that.
I thought, because they showed it twice. I was getting more that he didn't like her just being self-deprecating. It wasn't like, I think it was, she's saying, I can be sarcastic or facetious.
But there was a word they had to bleep.
Oh, well, then we should go back and watch that.
Yeah, I think it was the C word. I don't know.
So, well,
regardless.
Sensitive ears.
Yes, unlike Meredith, who didn't hear it from a mile away.
She's never hearing it.
She's really strategic about that.
Yeah.
When she puts them in, when she lowers them down.
Even at the end of...
She was laughing with Whitney about it, like, oh, I didn't hear that. Totally, yeah.
See, I mean, that goes to show that she's,
You were not that offended about... And then Meredith likes to have a moment. And she is... Whitney, Mary is right. Meredith likes to play the victim and say like, oh, he said it about me. I'm so offended. I'm so hurt. There are people, there's children dying.
She tries to make that she upholds this level of decorum.
Yes.
That is above everyone else, and no one else can possibly even, they just have no class.
When you get drunk though and talk about the room, about the husband, no, your decorum is really, really small. Is that short?
Or missing, or just you're short on decorum?
Short on decorum, yeah.
So yeah, she just tries to have this air about her that she just doesn't have, and I think people know she doesn't have it.
Yes.
And not in a bad way, it's like she's making more of, she has some sense of decorum, but she's making more of it than it actually
putting, it's like you said, she's putting on airs. And it's from her Airbnb, as Mary would say.
Well, in fact, that Angie was like, I thought she was going to take one of those statues. And Mary was like, where was she going to put it in her Airbnb? That's some tag team shade, and I am here for it. But
her house is beautiful this season.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was funny. It was Todd who was just like, oh, your house is beautiful.
Yeah.
And this season.
They keep upgrading. But yes, so yeah, we have that Todd Brodwin chastising, Heather's loving it. Then they get back into the, the Mary of it all. And then that's when Brittany, of all people, says, maybe we should give Mary some grace if she's going through something. So good on you, Brittany, for pointing that out, because Mary was like, no, I'm hurt. And, if that's really your friend, and she did say like, oh, she's out of character, but she wasn't giving a lot of grace.
I would have preferred, and again, this could just be production and, editing, but I would have preferred if instead of just silent glances around the table, at one point, that someone would actually have just addressed the fact, well, Mary's not telling us what's going on. Like, we can't, we're not going to give her a lifeline for something, just in case maybe she's going through something,
Right.
Which obviously she is, but, they don't know that. I wouldn't sit around just being like, oh, so-and-so is acting extra bitchy lately, of my friends, and be like, oh, perhaps they're going through something tough with their children. I'd be like, no, if they're not telling me what's going on, then they have no right to be treating me this way. Right. And so, yeah, you can give a little bit of grace, but that's not until you find out later, what's going on. That you're like,
that's not how grace works. Grace is like, I think you're going through something, or even if you're not, if it's so out of character that you're noticing it and you're saying it to everybody and their mother that she's acting out of character, then she should give her some grace and say she's going through something. Maybe she doesn't want to tell me. Right. I just feel like Meredith could have been taking a step back.
I agree with you on that. But if this is Mary acting out of character, then in the last 4 seasons, something bad has been going on in Mary's life, because she's been acting like this the entire time.
Well, maybe Meredith means more so out of character in relation to her.
Okay, yeah.
Because they were always good.
Oh, that makes sense. And actually, now that I've said it out loud, clearly Mary has been going through some stuff in the last 4 years, with the church, and I'm sure with Robert Sr. and Robert Jr., this isn't just the first day that this happened.
Right.
So yeah, clearly going through a lot of things.
Right. And so we get to those
things. And I
was surprised. I didn't know, because again, we were watching this late, and I thankfully avoided spoilers. I just knew that it was a very serious conversation, and I didn't know what it was going to be, but I didn't think it was going to be this.
I didn't think it was be a checklist of every narcotic that he's ever done.
Yes.
Which was, I want to say refreshing, but I mean more like just the candidness of it all. I just thought there'd be some accuse, deny. Okay, you might be right. But it was like, no, Xanax when I was 16, and it went from there all the way up.
Acid, cocaine, Adderall.
Yeah, I mean, the whole 9 yards.
I do like an up and down thing. Like I'm feeling, I need to mellow out, but now I need,
Yeah. I mean, it's how, a lot of drugs work for a lot of people. Like, for instance, was it Adderall, a stimulant? It's supposed to make you, a little bit more, give you energy, whatnot. For me, for whatever reason, when I've taken Adderall, it brings me down. I'm already so stimulated of a person. If you gave me more stimulant, it doesn't do for me what I would expect it to do. So that was a bad prescription that I had for that. But my brain's going so far a mile a minute. Like Xanax for me is like, oh, this is nice.
Right.
But I haven't been prescribed Xanax in a very, 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 very long time.
So. And there's more to it, and about also I guess what he's going through and how he got to that point,
Right.
And so they didn't get into all of it, but I don't know where they go from here.
Right.
But it just in
the scheme of things, they didn't really get into much of it. I mean, it was good that I guess good in the sense that he admitted he's doing something. Has an issue with drugs, but it was very noticeable when, Mary said, I want to help you, but you need to help yourself. I mean, he kept asking him, do you acknowledge that this is a problem? And he just stared at her.
Yeah.
But he doesn't think that this is a problem.
But they also mixed in with that is the thoughts of suicide.
Right.
And it's also like, okay, how do you, deal with that?
Right. And I think that's going to be an interesting thing for them to explore, and hopefully he because that's why he's doing the drugs. Probably is it makes him not feel that way, and
right. But why do you feel that way?
Right.
Yeah.
And then I do feel a little crappy, and I've avoided everything on the internet too. But it's a very motherly thing to say, but do you realize what would happen to me if something happened to you?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, it's kind of selfish on one hand, but very real and very true for Mary to say that.
But also I think it was more so about, you're such a gift, you're such an amazing person, you shouldn't, I don't want you to leave this world, and you shouldn't want to leave this world because there's so much more, so much more life in you, and so much more life to lead.
I agree, but I feel that if I were talking to someone who was feeling that way, feeling that their life wasn't worth living, I don't feel as though telling them I think their life is helpful.
Right.
But I don't know if you know this about me. I'm not a psychologist.
Right.
I don't know what the right answer is to that. But for me personally, if I were feeling a certain way, feeling I was inadequate, being told by someone else, but I think you are, that's not what I want to be hearing. And I just think for someone who's that deep into it, telling them that, if something happened to you would make me worse, you're almost adding to it. It's okay,
pressure.
Another thing I need to worry about.
Yeah. No, I can see that too. But also she was really caught off guard, and, really wasn't prepared for the conversation. It needs to be more of a conversation, and he obviously needs help.
Right.
So
I think though for, whatever, I feel about what she was saying, I think it did work because, for him to say that she's one of the only reasons he never actually did it.
Right.
I mean, that says something, and that really, just say what you will about the whole production of the scene and whether any of it was staged, which I don't think it was. The fact that he broke down and started crying then, that was very real, and so, she did get through to him in one sense, but, I hope it continues to be a topic of conversation for the rest of the season, and that we get to see, either we get to see some progress. I don't even want to see progress on screen. I just want updates as to what's going on. I don't want this to be a one and done conversation. And
I don't think it will be. I think, you just, it's drugs, I think, are one thing, but once you bring suicide into the conversation,
oppression of it.
Yes. There's a lot going on that he needs to deal with, and so I'm sure we'll hear more about it as the season goes on. But that's the main thing, is is she going to tell some of the other women? Obviously she's not going to be sitting down with Lisa and Meredith and having a heart-to-heart, but I could see Angie, because they're very close.
I could see maybe Angie. I don't know, it's one of those weird,
I think Angie, out of all of them, she'd be the one to tell her.
It's one of those weird things that you would think that she wouldn't bring it up to any of them, but at the same time it's on camera and she's gonna
right,
I don't know,
I think, because there is that scene in the trailer where Angie comes over to her house and they're talking, and Mary starts crying. So I think maybe that's when she says, maybe not all the details, but just Robert's going through something really difficult, and that's affected me, and that's why I'm acting the way I'm acting, and so yeah.
Meredith can get out of my house
if she can't act right.
No, it was a good episode. Seeing the previews for it, and then all the I don't know what the better word is, but all the hype. Andy oh, it's coming up fast. It's very heavy. It's it is. It's a hard thing for to pivot on show.
Yeah, well, because there's so much just typical housewife cattiness and fighting, and then to go to something very serious,
it makes it almost so much of an after school special, and you're is this the right place for it?
Especially in the show, I could see it in Beverly Hills because they've dealt with addiction before, but when so much of Salt Lake is 75% camp,
right,
then they shift to a very serious topic, is whoa, I don't know how to feel about this, but
But I mean, good for them, and like I say, as long as we get some updates through, what's going on, and they don't owe us anything. I mean, he doesn't know us, she doesn't owe us anything as human beings. But the fact that it's brought on the show and that they've chosen to production has chosen to make it a storyline.
Yeah, it can't be siloed. Like, she for sure has to tell one of them because that's what the show is. I don't know if like production would push her to, but I think just naturally, if this is a show about you and your friends relating and helping one another and talking about things that are going on in each other's lives, then this is a major thing going on in your life that you would want to tell it to at least one of them.
Do we think this is what will reunite Meredith and Mary?
No.
Give them
I don't think so at all.
Teary like, I'm so sorry.
No.
Okay. All right.
I think it's just gonna be Angie. That's my guess.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, overall, we had an episode. I'm glad we waited.
Everyone was involved.
Even our good
Maybe
all involved. Again, I think that Bronwyn's involvement was a little manufactured. She didn't really need to.
It came out of nowhere, too.
And then even kind of doubling down on stuff at dinner, like she was definitely trying to get a dig at Heather a little bit, and then also just trying to show that, like, you know, see, your perceptions of me aren't necessarily true or in line. Like, we're all
like that's. I mean, for them. It's the thing is, what bugs me about Heather and Bronwyn is like they're not going anywhere. They're not moving forward. They had like that moment last week where they're like, you know, let's start over, and then we go right to the first scene of like Heather saying to Whitney and also saying in the confessional, like, I don't trust her, and then like, you know, Bronwyn saying like, well, blah 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 blah. So it's like, can you just either be good or not be good? And I think when they're together and they're trying to be good, it's very fake.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I like your Phyllis Neffler reference, and you know, like this whole it's just so surface, and it's just bugging me.
The fact that, you know, the show Long's character's name is Phyllis Neffler.
Yes.
That is so amazing.
Of course.
You know any of the kids' names?
I can't think of them. I mean, I'm sure if I was on IMDb, like, of course. But I know that what's her name from Life Goes On is one of the kids. Kelly Martin. And then the actress who is in she's been in so many other things, but like most recently that House of Usher show that we watched.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the one the super dark-haired one, the one who was like getting revenge on all the people in the family. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know off the top.
House of Usher.
I know the show,
yeah,
but I don't know which woman you're talking about.
The main woman who was like kept popping up, and they're like, "Is she a ghost?" And
oh,
seeing her.
One, yeah.
Yes.
I didn't realize she was in that.
She's in it.
She had a really Italian name, doesn't she? Like
maybe.
Anyway, we'll have to watch True Beverly Hills because we've watched it together.
We have not.
How have we?
I don't know, but we need to.
Phyllis Neffler.
We watched Hello Again together during COVID.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
I think she made some great movies. They weren't like hits, but like
they were hits, some of them, but some of them.
Well, I think Outrageous Fortune, but not Hello Again and not True Beverly Hills.
I mean, True Beverly Hills certainly cult status. I think a lot.
Yes, but like at the time, it wasn't like she left Cheers for all the right reasons.
That's true.
You know, it wasn't like as bad as David Caruso, but she definitely wasn't like turning out like winners.
All right, I'll give you that. So, overall, good episode, and
yes,
you know, we're gonna find out more next time.
Until next time.